Well, hello there everybody, and welcome to Empire Total War. We're going to be attempting the Battle of Poltava as the Swedish. Of course, as you know, the Swedish lost this battle against the great Peter the Great of Russia, actually one of the rulers that I respect the most in the world. But let's see if we can turn the tide of history and turn this battle around. Alright guys, the battle has begun, and one interesting thing about the Battle of Poltava is one of the reasons that the Swedes suggested that they may have lost the battle was that Charles, the Swedish king, was actually wounded quite early on in the battle. If I'm not mistaken, he died quite soon later on, so the men did not have the highest morale. In this particular alternative history, of course, we're being commanded by a different general, of course, and actually he did give command to a different general. I just don't remember his name. Right now, guys, all I'm going to do is hold steady. As you can see, we've got a lot of men here in the front, mostly spearmen, and as you can see, look at that. Oh, devastating shot from the Russian cavalry there. We've also got a regiment of foot, but I'm really going to try to hold steady here. I'm going to keep my horses in the woods. I don't want the enemy to know what I could do. In fact, I might even take this unit of cavalry, move them over here. We'll also grab this grenadier unit, and I think I want to lay the grenadier unit out this way. Of course, we'll have them actually turn towards the enemy, but for now I think this might work, at least for the initial charge. I'm also going to take the foot guards and also drag them out just a little bit. I want them to really have a nice wide area of fire. Alright, the Russians are approaching, my friends. We'll go take a look at the Russian lines. As you know, we are totally outnumbered by the Russians, although I'm sure that a lot of their men are streltsy. But actually, as you can see here, these are not streltsy. And the reason is because Peter actually reformed the Russian army and made it look a lot more Western. And as a consequence, has actually fought a lot better. I don't actually see a single streltsy unit, and all I see over here are cannons firing away at us. I'm sure they're damaging us quite a lot before the initial infantry assault. Before we get to that, guys, I will of course set up my men, and when we get to combat, I will rejoin you. Alright guys, the first phase of battle for me is going to be to attempt to flank the enemy, of course. Get behind them with our swords and possibly take out that cannon unit, because that's causing us way too much grief. And I think even if we lose some horsemen here, we will certainly show the Russians that we're ready for a cavalry fight. And hopefully on the ground, we can outmatch them with our muskets. So here we go, guys. We are actually approaching the enemy cavalry line. As you can see, they've decided to really defend this area quite well. With a bunch of enemy cavalry units to defend the actual cannons, etc. And I'm just going to keep regular movement speed for now. Eventually we will be charging here, but I want to reserve our charge strength for when we actually have to get in the battle. We're going to actually come from this area right here, and I might actually try to hit the enemy general if I can. If not, I'm going straight for these cannons. So here we go, guys. The attack begins. Looks like actually their dragoons are coming for us first. Let's see if their infantry is closer to our men. It's certainly approaching, and maybe we'll even surprise one of these units, these guard musketeers, with an attack. And it looks like actually we have some infantry here. Pikemen, we definitely don't want to attack the pikemen, so let's try to finish off this fight quickly. Come on, men, Sweden for the win! Of course, everybody looks very similar here due to Peter's reforms, so it's going to be hard for our men to tell the difference between our men and the enemy, but they're wearing those green jackets, really separates them, and let's see how the Tsar's men are doing right now. We're actually managing to cut down a lot of dragoons, but certainly that infantry line approaching is not making me feel any safer, guys. There we go. The dragoons are on the run. We're going to immediately charge into more dragoons. We're not going to give up. Now that we have momentum, we're going to charge and try to take everyone out. I think I'll go ahead and hit these guys, and on the way we're sure to hit some of their grenadiers as well as their 6-pounder foot artillery, which can actually be quite a problem to us. So here we go. We'll take this cavalry unit and smash into these guys. So we're going to hit them on the flank. The glorious Swedish cavalry is charging, of course, and these units are Drabant guards, if anybody wants to do some research there, as well as dragoons, and just, yeah, units of dragoons. And there we go. Our men are definitely cutting down a lot of enemy units. As you can see, the cannons are down. That's what we wanted to do initially, guys. But what about the foot combat? We've got to get over here quickly, see what's happening. We want to make sure that these men are also firing at this regiment of foot, and we want to get these men just prepared for possible combat. For sure, there's a musket fight going on here. The enemy is approaching. We cannot lose the Battle of Poltava. That would be a terrible thing. But as you can see over here, our cavalry, unfortunately, is slowly winding down. We have managed to cause a lot of damage here. If we could keep this up, that would just be amazing. Come on, men. There we go. I don't want the pikemen getting us, especially not in the rear. And actually, we'll keep attacking. The 600 foot artillery, I'm trying to get the hell out of here, to be honest with you guys. I don't know how we'd stand against pikemen, but then again, we are surrounding them. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea. I'm not going to test my luck. In fact, what we're going to try to do is hit some of these units in the flank. There we go. Wow, the Russians are actually getting really close here. They're attempting to charge our lines here. It looks like our men are managing to push them back with a lot of musket fire. Beautiful. Keep up the shots, men. And look at our guys trying to keep the Russians back. That musket smoke is building up. I couldn't think of anything better to do than to smash in to the rear of the Russians here. Of course, our general could also be going down soon. As you can see, he's taking some shots. Our men have got to keep up this fight. Come on, boys. The glorious Swedish cavalry comes again. Is it going to save the day? I'm not sure. For Sweden, men! And here we go. We've got some general's bodyguard trying to get away. Can we kill the enemy general here? It looks like the enemy has already actually gotten into a box formation. Quite smart of them. But if we can kill their general, we may seriously turn the tide of battle in our favor. The fact that they're getting this close is a problem, but our men are managing to keep them off with their withering musket fire. Look at this. They're right there. They're falling like weeds. It's just amazing. We're getting great shots here. They may not be Streltsy anymore, but the Russians still have a lot to learn about combat. And hopefully we can turn this in our favor. There we go. The general is running. Can we get a kill on the general? Come on, men. Don't disappoint me now. There's one more that's got to be him. Let's take a look over here at the close combat. All right, we definitely want to get in here quickly. And there we go. Enemy general is dead. That's awesome. I'm going to charge right into these units because they're actually firing at us, this regiment of foot, and our men are engaged in heavy combat with these guys. So I want to make sure we can take them out and make sure to tell our men that they should keep fighting. They should not surrender. Sadly, our general is also in a little bit of trouble here. Looks like he's very close to running. So let's make sure to grab these guys, make sure they're actually aiming at the enemy. And as for these guys, the name of this unit is the Narkevarmland Regiment of Foot. Looks like we've got the enemy on the run. Keep on going, men. And I'm actually going to turn our guys this way and try to join the fight on this side. It looks like the enemy continues to rush forward here. We're going to continue to take our horses and try to kill as many of them as possible. They've done well so far. There's no reason they should stop this attack. Looks like we've even got an infantry unit here, still fighting. We've got to save that regiment of foot. And at this point, we're attacking pikemen. We may have lost our mind a little bit on this attack, but I feel we have so much momentum, perhaps we could actually beat them. And actually, we are defeating them right now. They're losing this fight, but for how long, I'm not sure. Still haven't won the battle, guys. Not even close. We've got this cavalry unit over here, and what do you think I'm going to do with them? I'm going after the Narovsky regiment of foot to cut them down. I don't want them coming back to the battle, and I'll move these guys back. Let's take a look at the battlefield as it looks right now. Pretty bloody stuff. Our men have definitely taken some hits too, but it looks like the enemy took the brunt of the trauma for sure. Okay, here we go. Now we've got some cavalry units that are definitely wavering, or infantry units at least, but we are cutting down the Russians. And if we could win the awesome Battle of Poltava here, I'm going to be really happy, guys. I think this is the first time I managed to get a victory in this battle. I'm going to go ahead and hit the regiment of foot here. They've just killed one of our strongest regiments here. They fought so bravely, down to 5 men, and I want to make sure that they know never to do this again. The Baturki, very, very cool animation there. Almost looks like a Soviet ski helmet of sorts, but let's take a look at all the dead. Oh my goodness. This was a true bloodbath, as the real Battle of Poltava was. Here we go, guys. Don't stop now! I'm not giving up. I want to make sure they run and run and run. I think that's enough. We've taught them enough lessons, of course, and we can go ahead and start chasing the units that are still active here. Let's actually take a look, guys, up here. I don't know what's going on. I think the enemy abandoned a lot of their horses. Can we kill them? I don't think that's going to be the nicest thing to do, but we do want to make sure they don't get back on them, right, guys? think we'll just go for the units that are still refusing to surrender, which right now just seems to be this regiment of dragoons. And let's take a look at the actual battle site. I'm going to start moving towards this area. I want our general to stay behind them. But we already know where the enemy is, and we should definitely go after them. Here we go. Dragoons shall be slaughtered. I don't think Peter was expecting this. And let's see the name of the general we killed. Actually, we killed Peter the Great. I just realized. Absolutely beautiful. So we actually killed Peter the Great. I feel a little guilty. He's one of my favorite leaders of all time. I certainly am happy that he won and not Charles. But in this battle, things may be a little different, my friends. All right, here we go. There we go. We're already chasing off a bunch of the enemies. Alright guys, there we go. Now, I would end battle now, but I know you guys like to see the battle afterwards, so I'm going to go ahead and continue and just slowly pan over the bloodshed that has been shed here in Empire Darthmod. And you can see here just both sides have taken a hell of a beating. This is our brave Swedish men. A lot of them died over here. Of course, the Russians took a hell of a beating here. A lot of dead Russians here due to musket fire and cavalry. You can see all those sabers littering the ground, as well as the dead men. I mean, this is not a pretty scene at all, guys. Of course, the cavalry combat over here was vicious, and many brave men have died this day. I want to go over to the enemy line, because I know stuff happened over here when we killed all of these units, and actually, this is the remnant of our first cavalry attack out of those woods. It certainly was successful. I think the enemy made a lot of mistakes, but we could have certainly lost too. As you can see, that brave man will get a state funeral. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the battle. I will go ahead and end it so you guys can see essentially the results, and hope you guys had a good time. Take care.